mind moving in a little bit towards the middle of the row. It makes it a lot easier for people who come in a little bit later to find seats so they don't have to stand in the back. I promise everybody's nice. Just squeeze on it. And also, please silence your phones. So this is the build track. So up next, we have Esther, who is a developer on the Bamboo team and actually lives in Sydney. Before Sydney, from what I know about Esther, she's a jack of all trades, and she actually once had a previous employer almost send her to the World Series of Poker in addition to her her coding capabilities. And so she actually ended up moving to London for work, and there got picked up on a recruitment bus by Atlassian, and before she knew it, she was headed to Sydney and moved there and hasn't looked back since. So Esther is actually going to be talking to you about the CI battle inside of Atlassian, and I've seen it. It's very good. And now Esther.
I don't have to use this one, right? Hi, how's it going? Hola. Welcome to the Game of Codes, the CD battle. It's actually just a view behind the curtains to show how we apply continuous integration and continuous delivery at Atlassian. And I don't know, where is here. Okay, so yeah, thanks Justine for the introduction. My name is Esther. Well, they call me in Australia Esta, but actually my name is Esther because I was born in Spain, as you can tell by my accent. When I was a kid, I wanted to become a doctor, but I ended up developing for a poker game server in Java. So this took me to London, and while I was there, Atlassian came on a bus to steal 15 developers in 15 days. And I was so lucky that I was one of them, so I got on the bus, and I moved to Sydney, where I have been living the dream for the last 3 years, working in the development headquarters at Atlassian. I started as a Confluence developer. It's the best collaboration tool ever, as you know. Driven by my passion in continuous integration and continuous delivery, I moved into the Bamboo groups with other pandas, and now I'm working there. So let's see what this Game of Codes is about. Today, we're going to be talking about continuous integration, about how we apply it at Atlassian. We will see as well the anatomy of the continuous integration pipelines, and we will see as well how culture and people, and not only tools, can play a huge impact in the way we deliver software. We are going to see as well that there is something beyond continuous integration, and it's called continuous delivery. And we are going to see as well how we do it at Atlassian. And I can tell by now the conclusions. It's going to be that I'm going to talk a lot, and I'm going to talk about infrastructure, about tools, about processes, and about people. And of course, I'm going to talk about Bamboo, because Bamboo is the apple of my eye. That's what my boss says. So let's start with the introduction. For this talk, I wanted to find the best definition of continuous integration ever for the people who haven't started yet, right? So one cannot talk of continuous integration without mentioning Martin Fowler, because he's the guru, right? So the quote starts like this. Continuous integration is a software development practice where members of a team integrate their work frequently, blah, 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 right? So, you know, when rehearsing at home, I realized that this quote is perfect, but it's too large. My accent is a bit weird, right? So I was going to read it all. It's not. Now, jokes apart, I think this quote is perfect, but I don't feel that this quote reflects the way I feel about continuous integration after having worked with it for a few times, right? So I decided to come up with a definition of my own. And I finally did it one day, listening to Daft Punk. So I'm just going to show you. Every time I think of continuous integration, I picture teams that need to work it harder, to make it better, to do it faster, to end up doing it stronger, right? Just the lyrics from Daft Punk. I was planning to sing the song, but I am an awful singer. So, but if you want to, yeah, I can do it later. But instead of that, I'm going to explain you why. Continuous integration implies harder processes, because you can put down dev speed, but just for the sake of something higher. That is turning your code into high-quality code. Implies better quality, because teams are going to be able to pick up bugs as soon as possible, just exactly when they are easier to fix. imply faster delivery, because continuous integration together with continuous delivery is going to make teams work on a delivery pipeline, right? That after several iterations is going to end up running smoothly in this conveyor belt that is pushing code from commit to production. And finally, stronger teams that are not just focused on requirements, execution, and sprint planning, right? Are teams that are focused on delivery, on quality, in strategies to get to customers. But how does this apply to a company as Atlassian in the real world? So as you all know, Atlassian is a software company, and we are a bunch of people. And we are distributed all around the world, in 4 different continents, I believe, a lot of different time zones, a lot of different countries if we take into account our partnerships. And from all these people, a bunch of us, including me, and many people who are around here today, are developers. And we are pushing code like crazy to a huge range of products and plugins that also come in different flavors. So we have cloud, we host, or server, you host, right? We have as well services, internal services and external. Well, and this big picture will be nothing without our third party of ecosystem developers. This third party, Atlassian Marketplace, Connect, our P2 plugin system, we won't be nothing without it. And it pushes our integration and our scalability up to the roof. So I believe that in a scenario like this, with this big picture, continuous integration is a battle. And makes of Atlassian a very, very interesting company in terms of continuous integration and continuously delivery. In Atlassian, we are well aware of that, and that's why we are trained to fight this battle. And when I mean training, I mean real training, right? Like, I'm going to show you how we do it, like in one of the parties from last year, which pictures I'm going to show you now. So in Atlassian, continuous integration is a battle in which we use our own tools as weapons, and our precious crew as an army. Thanks to continuous integration and continuous delivery, our teams and individuals are empowered to have a direct impact in the way we deliver software. Software that we aim to deliver with high quality and as fast as we can, because we aim to have a tight cycle time between ideas and deliverables, and so get the most valuable feedback, the one that comes from our users, and so win the battle. Because as you all know, in the continuous integration battle, it does not count until it's shipped. And because I guess that there are a lot of Game of Thrones followers here, you know that when you play the Game of Thrones, you win or you die or something like that. In continuous integration, you're not going to die. What is going to happen is that you will ship or you will fail. Let's go into, after the epic introduction, let's go into more low-level detail. Let's speak about the anatomy of our pipelines. What are the keys to rule continuous integration? You need 4 things. We need infrastructure, we need tools, bamboo, we need processes, and you need your people as well. So let's start with the infrastructure first. Atlassian has a lot of different teams, and all of them are mapped into divisions. All of them are using different bamboo instances. So we do this because we want to isolate teams from each other, and also because we want to facilitate maintainability. How do we take care of all these instances at once? We have a different team, the build engineering team, that is taking care of them, actually in a very continuous CI/CD approach using Puppet. The team started back in the middle of 2010, just when the company was around 300 people. And they have been key contributors in keeping our delivery process up and running. The development manager of this team, Peter Lischev, is having a talk today. So I don't know the name, sorry, but I encourage you all to go and see it. This team not only takes care of that, but also any kind of build infrastructure, including agents, so build slaves, Maven repositories. And the number for the curious are 12 bamboo instances, an impressive number of 1,200 Elastic agents running builds like crazy, 15 Nexus instances, 20 different AMIs that allows us to have different build configurations, 3.5K build plans all across the company. This is how committed we are with continuous integration. And an impressive number of 14K branch build plans, because Bamboo is awesome and allows us to run branch builds, right? But this is the infrastructure, right? We need to talk about tools and processes, because while build engineering is the responsible for setting up the battlefield, every team in Atlassian is responsible from their strategy in the battle. And this is what we call a continuous integration delivery pipeline. So in this pipeline, every time a developer commits, an artifact is built, and a comprehensive suite of tests is run, ending up in a potentially deliverable artifact, right? And that's when the team may claim victory. But this is called continuously because this happens all the time per developer commit. So if you think about it, continuously is more often than when you think. And if we put this into the glance of one of the biggest teams in Atlassian, the Confluence team, you realize that maybe continuous integration is more complicated than when you think. Because yes, Confluence does not have just one developer, but has a lot of them, right? And they are distributed all around the world. Not just one repository to make changes to, but a lot of different repositories if we take into account plugin development. Not just one artifact that needs to be built, but a lot of them, and a lot of build plans that need to run. Not just one test, but a lot of them, because we are talking about a code base that has 10 years or more, and they are contributing to it all the time, right, on a daily basis. Yeah, and a lot of success and claiming victory for the team. So if we put this in numbers, we have around 100 developers, an impressive number of around 435 plans that need to run, and an impressive number of 20,000 tests, and this keeps growing, right? So it's pretty crazy if you think about it. And if you put these numbers all together with other limitations in the build infrastructure, because we don't have 1 million agents available, right? You may realize that our developer will have maybe to wait 1.5 days to find out if their changes have broken something, right? So I'm not surprised that we're in a scenario like this. Every now and then someone will say, I'm not Slack enough. It's just that my build plans are still running, and I don't want to start anything new, right? Because I'm still waiting. And this is what I say every time that I am randomly looking photos for cats on the internet. But we are in an agile world, so there is a new iteration from this quote, and it's actually, I'm not Slack enough, is that my build plans are still in the queue, so they haven't even started running yet. And this is one of my workmates, this is what he says, because when he's looking for photos of llamas, because he's obsessed with llamas and alpacas, because they are the next cats on the internet, I believe. So this is how continuous integration challenges our processes. And in Atlassian, we face them all, like in any other software company in the world. One of the challenges, we want to have a master branch that is production ready, right? This is the dream. It's complicated. We do feature branch development, so every feature is developing an independent branch. And thanks to Bamboo being awesome, we can run build plans per branch and make sure that our work keeps integrating properly. But of course, if you are working on a branch that is not the master branch, you will have another challenge. Long running branches, right? Everybody hates them. The solution for that in Atlassian and in many other companies is applying feature flags. So the code is integrated, but the feature itself is hidden from the user experience. If you have people working on features, they will be contributing to the test suite, which is amazing, but of course contributing as well to having a heavy, big, and slow test suite, right? The team needs to come with a build grid, what is called a farm of builds that are going to split up the test suite. But of course, another challenge with this comes, that if you have a lot of build plans that need to run, you may kill one of the major goals of continuous integration, that is providing quick feedback. So the solution for that is the team needs to come and define a build strategy, define what needs to run and when regarding the dev cycle that we are on. So looking at this slide, looks pretty clear to me that continuous integration is a strategy game. And it's a strategy game that the Confluence team masters. So I'm going to show you in more low-level detail how they do it. So this is a developer. That's me when I was blonde. And I'm working on a feature branch that gets merged to master. And then just after that, thanks to repository polling, Bamboo triggers a plan. It's called the core test suite. So this is a check-in suite that runs a smoke test, basically all the unit tests from the team, provides quick feedback, and it's providing me quick confidence about my changes so I can move on. But just exactly after that happened, thanks to plan dependencies, the cloud test suite is triggered. And this is a plan that is specific for on-demand, that runs tests against a real on-demand instance, because the team needs to be thinking about the on-demand and server. But in parallel, the full test suite of Confluence is triggered. And we are talking in here about a huge build grid of plans that are running in parallel, focusing on different testing strategies, including acceptance testing, cross-platform testing, performance, and ecosystem. And yeah, when we're talking about cross-platform, we are speaking about making sure that my little change works properly against every database server, every web browser, every JDK version that we support, every operating system, every Tomcat container, everything. In the meantime, the cloud test suite has finished, which means that once per day, this artifact that has been built from ahead of the master branch, very recent, is deployed into the internal instance of the Confluence team in a very interesting concept that is called dogfooding. We are going to be talking about it later, but basically means that the development team starts using this artifact as soon as possible and starts evaluating it. And then if this is running properly, once per week, or well, every 2 weeks when I build this slide, but actually nowadays it's twice every week, the Confluence team will deliver to our on-demand users when it's production ready. In the meantime, the Confluence team keeps preparing server releases, which means that the artifact that has been built is deployed to the internal user that every employee in Atlassian uses on a daily basis. And this is a pretty big deal, because we are talking about an instance that, if I'm not wrong, has like a 99% for service level agreement, means that needs to be wrapped up and running every time, or you will get a message from Scott, right? So one may think that, that this instance has a very old version, 5.7 something, or of Confluence that doesn't have any bugs and is very stable, but it's actually the other way around. It's an artifact that has been built for a very recent head of the master branch. And when it's production ready and the team is confident about it, gets deployed to server customers at a pace that is around once per month for bug fixing releases, even less, and once per quarter for major and minor. So now that we see the anatomy, we can actually map it with how books speak about continuous integration at the stages, right? Books say that we need a commit stage. So basically, we compile and unit test run to verify that the application keeps working at a technical level. Automated testing. So we have acceptance criteria, requirements, to make sure that the application works at a functional, so we meet the criteria, and not functional, so we don't have a performance regression, for instance. Then we have a stage that is called manual testing to make sure that the application keeps working like a charm, right? To make sure that it's usable and it still provides value. And finally, the release stage, right? How important is that? That we deliver the awesomeness to customers to make sure that it's deliverable and fully operational. How does this map with the stages that teams in Atlassian have? For the commit stage, we rely heavily on Bamboo. It's the tool that we use. Everything runs in there. Again, automated testing, every test run in different build plans that are split up by test flavor in Bamboo again. Manual testing is an interesting one because people are often surprised when we say that we don't have manual testers, black box testers in Atlassian. And the way to make up for it and do it in a very amazing results is actually having a quality assistant team and the process of dogfooding. And quality assistant people are not testers. They are involved in every stage of the process, from commit to production. And they are actually preventing things from happening and educating, never testing. And for the dogfooding, as I said, we evaluate as soon as we can our products from our master branch, right? And so we make sure that the master branch is always on a production state. We also integrate user acceptance testing and exploratory testing together with our workflow. It's things that in many companies they are pushed until the end. For us, it's integrated. And the last one, the benefit that I actually like the most, is like thanks to this, we get feedback, very, very valuable feedback from our users. In this case, the internal ones, because we use our products. And I can tell that we polish our features a lot, not only bug-related, but also user experience. And finally, the release process, thanks to Bamboo again, because it's awesome. So we can build, and we can actually have release candidates that are going to be deployed through different environments, thanks to our deployment projects. These are a lot of challenges that we have, but I have intentionally left apart one of the biggest challenges that every software company in the world has. So this big number in here is the number of quarantine tests that we have in the company by the end of last year, out of 2,000K. So as you may know, quarantining is a feature in Bamboo that allows you to skip tests that are failing. In this case, after some research, we realized that they were skipped because they were flaky. So they were failing intermittently. This created a huge controversy in Atlassian, to a point that this number, 1,888, if the number of times the words flaky or flakiness appears in the content of our instance, of our Confluence wiki. So there was a lot of discussion there. It was a war. So, and then again, is the reason there is a quote like this, right? I am code, I need attention. And this comes from an open letter from an ignored test that is in one of our public blogs in developersatlassian.com that I encourage everybody to read. It was written by Mari Edo, one of our Q gurus. So yeah, it's a test that was functionally working, and now it's failing, and it has been ignored. So it's claiming attention. And we are talking about that now because continuous integration is not just tools and processes. Continuous integration is also people, so human like us. And because, as you know, continuous integration is a practice. It's not a tool and requires discipline from the development team. And this is what we call in Atlassian the culture of green. So it's powered by Bamboo. That is reminding us how important it is to keep our builds green and also how difficult it is right now. And also, it's telling us that software development is not just about requirements and execution, implementation, but it's also about testing, about planning, and about delivery. So we are going to be talking about continuous integration culture now. And in Atlassian, continuous integration and culture is what happens when the founders are not around. Well, and actually the founders are pretty much around all the time because they are pretty awesome guys and they are involved with our processes a lot. But it's basically every time that your boss is not looking at you, that's what culture is. So that's why in Atlassian we have roles like the build master. It's someone that, in some teams, so it's someone that is taking a look at the builds and making sure that when they go red, someone is fixing them and it goes green again, right? And that's why we have the role of the build breaker as well. So it's someone that has broken the build, stops whatever they are doing, puts on the hat, and just fix the build. The culture of green is about saying that red is the new green. So we know that in continuous integration, red means broken, and red is already a pretty stressful color, so people can feel very, very, very stressed. But I would like to see at this from the bright side of the life and actually consider that every red build is an opportunity for us to fix a problem before it gets into customer hands. So yeah, we need to cherish them, we need to embrace them, but not too much. We need to fix them. Finally, culture of green is about giving feedback to people, so it's get feedback. So it's about getting valuable information at record time so people can act upon them, because as you know, having a lot of feedback, if we do nothing with it, then it's worthless. That's why the Atlassian offices are full of high discoverability monitors that aggregate information from the build system, everything that matters from a continuous integration point of view. These wallboards were implemented at Atlas boards as part of the Ship It. You know what the Ship It is about. It's this contest that we all developers run every 3 months, and it's actually the dream of everybody is actually to win this Ship It. I have never won it, but maybe one day, I don't know. So let's see how the wallboard from Bamboo looks like. That day we didn't have any broken builds critical, but we have a lot of important builds that were read. And this is continuous integration as well. Things are going to fail because we are human. We are going to break things. That's why you have Bamboo, to point them out. We have the version of Bamboo across different environments, and also the status of our pull request. This is not directly related to continuously integrated, right? But this makes an impact in dev speed, and therefore in continuous integration. Blockers, to make sure that they don't get to our customers. The status of our sprint chart, that is going to make people happy or not. And then the developers on rotations, because this is increased collaboration as well. So thanks to this, the number of, this number here is the number of quarantine tests that we have in the company by now. So people are important. Let's go now to the continuous delivery battle, because there is something beyond continuous integration, and it's continuous delivery, and you will say, why is that? Because continuous integration is not enough, and don't get me wrong, you need this if you want to deliver with quality. But continuous integration is just about making sure that your changes don't break anything. The point is, like, you put this into an artifact that you deliver to customers, that continuous integration doesn't speak about that. That's continuously delivery. And to convince you all about why we all need continuously delivery, let me speak about the non-continuously delivery syndrome. We have developers here who are thinking about customers all the time because we want to delight them with our features, right? And that's why we are nailing continuous integration, which means that every time we commit, an artifact is built and a comprehensive suite of tests is run, ending up in a potentially deliverable artifact that is proven to be working functionally, non-functionally, technically, provides value, everything. And then, look at that. It takes ages to get to customers, right? So slow, weeks, months, right? At that point, the team goes in a release party. And then everybody's very happy, and we have release success, right? But the week after, we start getting feedback from customers. And they say, man, that's not what I wanted, or I don't like it at all, it's not discoverable, or it's not even usable or useful, or what is even worse is that it's full of bugs, right? So at that point, you try to go to the development team and put some process in there to fix these issues, but what I will say as a developer is I honestly cannot fix the bug because I'm already writing a new one. Well, this is just me being sarcastic because I'm Andalusian. But that basically means that the development team is already in another dev cycle when the feedback from the users is happening, right? We can do better. We can tighten the cycle time. And for that, you need a delivery pipeline, which means that you commit, Bamboo is going to bless your changes, and we're running a lot of tests. It's going to create a release candidate that is going to get deployed to different environments thanks to Bamboo deployments. And if this happens at any time of the day, then you are applying continuously delivery. We don't do that in Atlassian right now. We have just one team, that is the purchasing team, that does that once per day, and I'm going to show you how they do it. So a developer does exactly that. Commits some changes, Bamboo takes care of the rest, and just builds an artifact that gets deployed into the dev machine. 10 a.m. in the morning, another snapshot of the pipeline gets triggered, which means that the artifact in the dev environment changes. 4 o'clock, and the release manager does some manual check-ins and then considers that the artifact is good enough to get deployed to staging. 4:15, and the release manager invokes some black magic using a release script that puts a comprehensive diff of what is new in the new artifact into HipChat, mentioning everybody there. And what happens is that 4:30, the key team comes together in HipChat, because in HipChat is where teams collaborate at Atlassian. And then they all review their changes, their dependencies. If everything is okay, they give the go. That implies that at 10 a.m. of the morning after, the release manager, after doing again some manual checking, deploys the artifact manually to production, again, thanks to Bamboo deployments. And then another day starts. My takeaway from this is that we need to free people to do the interesting stuff and let Bamboo do the rest. So one may think that a fully automated delivery pipeline implies no human interaction, but actually it's the other way around. What you are going to have is Bamboo running all the tasks that are error-prone and that you don't want a high-skilled developer doing the same thing over and over and over, right? You just have a tool to automate it. And then this tool is going to provide feedback, very valuable feedback that people are going to be able to jump out on it. And so collaboration actually is going to increase. Finally, for me, this is about wax in and wax off. And why is that? One team doesn't get a fully automated delivery pipeline that works like a charm for one day to another without treating it as a first-class citizen. You need to invest time. You need to make it shine. You need to polish it. And now we are getting to the conclusions. And I'm 1 minute behind. So when I started the talk, I said I was going to talk about infrastructure, tools, processes, and people, and I was going to talk a lot, and I did. So, but actually, how much did I talk about them? So I counted the words. The words I talk about the most are about people, individuals, collaboration, contribution, and then about tools and processes. So why is that? After having worked with continuous integration and continuous delivery for some time, I strongly believe that you need the right tools, so Bamboo, to do the right thing, but you need as well the right people that are willing to do the right thing, and so get the quality improvement that you are willing for. And well, in 2015, I didn't know that Yoda was a continuous integration advocate, but he said, do it or do not, there is no try, and this is what continuous integration and continuous delivery is about. But in 2015, if you want to be cool, there is no way that you are not going to do continuous integration and continuous delivery. And well, as we are here, what can I say? If you are going to do it, you have to do it with Bamboo. And that's all.
Thanks, Esther. Let's give her a hand. Good job. Good job.